Hey guys, so I am coming to you live. Welcome to Achieve with Carolina Live. I'm Carolina Romaniuk, your child and family sleep specialist. And for those of you that are new to the broadcast, I help families to get a good night's sleep and to understand their children's sleep needs better. So, hi Megan, thanks for joining. Um, I will wait like a couple of minutes. Today, what we're going to be talking about, before I get into the topic, is regressions. We're continuing on from the last 2 days. Monday, I was talking about sleep regressions for the 4-month-olds. Yesterday, I did 8 to 10 month, and then today we're going to be talking about regressions for 18-month-olds, and then 5 tips to help you get through the 18-month-old sleep regressions. It's scary. Um, you know, is your little one? I want to find out from you guys who are watching. Do you have a little one that is 18 months old, approaching 18 months old? Thanks for liking. Are you, do you have a friend that has a child that is 18 months old or hitting that time frame? Maybe you passed the sleep regression and you just kind of want to hear a little bit about, what has passed. Maybe give some pointers to some parents that are signing on tonight. Hi, Jane. Hi, Alyssa. Oh, yay, Jane, your little one turned 18 months as of last week. Happy 18-month-old. Yay! That's so exciting. So, hi, Lana. Thanks for joining. So I'm getting a couple of regulars. I love my regulars. For anyone that is watching the replay, feel free to ask me any type of question that you have regarding 18-month-old sleep regressions, and I will love to answer them later on if you are watching the replay. So today what we're going to be talking about is sleep regression for 18-month-olds and 5 tips to help you get through them and, to survive during that time frame. Hi, Lana. So I guess to start off, what we could start talking about is your little one, I know Jane mentioned that hers is 18 months old. If you know of anyone else that has an 18-month-old, oh, sorry, my husband was next to me. I got distracted. So, if you do know of anyone that has an 18-month-old, make sure that you share this video right now. Just click share on the bottom, and so we can get them on to making sure that if they have any questions, I would love to answer them on the live thread. If anything, you could sign them on afterwards too for the replay, and then I can answer the questions too. Make sure you like this video. You guys know the deal. So I'm going to start getting into it. Just to do a little recap of the signs of sleep regression. So there are actually 5 different signs on the sleep regression. The first sign is resistance of sleep. So that's one of the factors that you want to look for, is that they're fighting sleep. Second one is waking in the middle of the night. So waking in the middle of the night, that can be, for several reasons, but of course, under sleep regression, that can be a possible circumstance. So the first 2 is resistance of sleep. Second one is waking up at night. Third one is increased or decreased appetite. So sometimes for some kids, it can really enhance them being, extra hungry. All of a sudden, they're feeding twice as much on the boob, maybe drinking more of breast milk, and you're just doubling up their portions for their solids because they're 18 months old. So that is normal, and you might notice that as a growth spurt. Some kids might eat less also. I've seen cases like that prior, but majority of the time they do increase their appetite because they're growing, so they need more food, more stamina, more energy. So, hi everyone, I see we're getting a lot more viewers. Hi Esther. What we're talking about tonight is 18-month-old sleep regressions. So if your little one is around that age, make sure that you type that in. I want to know. And if you have any questions, feel free to jot down the questions while I'm chatting. And then after I'm done going over the tips that I have for you tonight, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer each of the questions that you guys have. So right now we're talking about signs of regressions. This is not just for 18 months old, this is in general for whenever your child hits the 18-month-old regressions. So the first one, as I mentioned, is resistance of sleep. Second one is waking at night. Third is reduced Third is increased or decreased appetite. Fourth is reduced or non-existent naps. So that does get affected, unfortunately. And as I mentioned in the video of last night, naps have a significance to them. So the morning nap is your mental restoration, and the afternoon nap is your physical restoration. So what you would want to do is make sure that you're not gypping your little one on naps. If they do start to skip them, just stay consistent. Don't start playing around with switching the times or anything like that. I would just stay consistent with the schedule. I wouldn't really shift anything around at that point. If at any point their naps are not good whatsoever, just fix it with doing an early bedtime, but I wouldn't start playing around with the naps because then everything goes kaputski. Remember that with a sleep regression, it can literally last anywhere between 2 weeks to 6 weeks for some kids. So it's normal for at least having that of a wait period. Now, what happens after sleep regression finishes, you have these little bumps in the roads during that time frame, but if your little one already has a sleep foundation set and they sleep beautifully, and then you have a sleep regression period, just as you know already, that just means a developmental milestone that they've hit, a growth spurt such as that, and it does subside within a couple of weeks for that, and then things return back to normal. Now, if your little one does not have a sleep foundation and they were not sleeping properly prior to that, you're just adding on more sleep deprivation on top of that. So then when the sleep regression period finishes, they're more exhausted than when they first started out. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get that sleep foundation set, and that's what I can help you with. So if you are having any type of problems, or you kind of at a standstill and you don't really know where to go with the approach to help your little one sleep beautifully at night, feel free to contact me and we can put together a wonderful plan for you that is nurturing in fashion, and it will help your little one in understanding and how that they can sleep with your presence available. So just feel free to contact me through the website that I included on the link above, and then we can schedule a chat for you guys. The fifth piece is change in behavior. So yes, kids, toddlers, 18 months old, they're already toddlers, they are moody little people. So they'll have their tantrums. It's normal for them during this part. As I mentioned, that 18 months sleep regression is a doozy because it involves full-blown tantrums for full-blown little people, toddlers, that they already have their personalities already in place. So walking, talking, for an example, their brains are just so overly active with lots of things going on, and they are just so excited about life, and that can actually, affect with bedtime if they're so pumped up on adrenaline and they're using their new developmental milestones that they're hitting, if they're walking already and now they're learning how to run. So things like that really kind of go into place. So they are moody. There's no gray area there. It's either black or white. So kind of going with the flow with that, just being more understanding, and just being there for your toddler and helping them along with their emotions, because they don't really understand what's going on in their body. They don't understand what is frustration, what is sometimes they use the word as anxiety, but you want to help them in understanding their feelings, and that is when, at this part, starting off, that's when things start to kind of bloom into effect. So you want to help them on that part. Your goal really for the 18-month sleep regression, it's not like for the 4-month or for the 8-month, it's more as in you really don't want to fix something. You kind of want to go through the milestone. Thanks for liking, guys. You want to go through the milestone without creating a new crutch. So I'm going to repeat that again. You don't want to fix something. Your goal is not to fix something during the 18-month-old regression period. Your goal is really just to continue smoothly through the regression until it's finished, without creating a new crutch. And what I mean by crutch is an association. It's something that your child starts to understand, a pattern that in order for me to fall asleep, I need these pieces to be instilled. So for an example, rocking, maybe prior to this they didn't fall asleep on the breast, and now all of a sudden they're having a sleep regression period and they start latching onto you, and now you have your 18-month-old falling asleep on the breast when that didn't happen before. So that's adding a new crutch. So you kind of want to wean away from that and not create something new that then you have to eliminate later on. So either you stay with the process that you have right now without creating something new and just move forward with it. So now that we understand the behind the scenes of what a regression is, specifically the 18-month-old, let's talk about survival, okay? So hold on, I just want to take a little sip of my water. So if you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's not black water. It's actually me and my husband, if you could see, Tony Robbins. So I got this as a gift. Life is a gift. Thanks for loving this. Me and my husband, we went last year in 2016. We went to one of Tony Robbins' events, and it was Unleash the Power Within, and it was speechless. It was unbelievable. I've never been to a concert before, and this was actually my first concert. Yeah, he had Pitbull was there. It was fantastic. And me and my husband, I can officially say that I'm a fire walker. So I walked on hot coals, real coals, barefoot, and I didn't have one mark on me afterwards. But yeah, so that's on that. I could talk about that forever, but I want to get back to you guys and talk about how I can help you with the sleep regression period. So that was way off topic. Sorry about the tangent on that. So five tips on how to help you get through the 18-month-old sleep regression period. So the first tip is understanding that this period is temporary. At motherhood, at certain points, it seems that it's forever, and meaning you're going to, let's say for an example, you're changing diapers. It just seems like it will never end, that you'll be changing diapers for the rest of your life. If you're feeding your little one, you at times will think that, oh my God, this is for the rest of my life. I'm always going to be in the same position. Remember that this is temporary and it too shall pass. So sleep regressions, as I mentioned, usually are between 2 to 6 weeks that they last, and then they dissipate. And then other things start to kind of go into play, but your main goal is you want to have a sleep foundation set for your little one, so when that sleep regression finishes, you're not starting from scratch, you're just continuing on from where you left off. Tip number 2 is make sure that naps happen. So I'm going to be really adamant about this and just stress on this, is that naps play a significant role. Don't skip on naps. Don't gyp your little one on naps. Even if they push through it, even if they try and not take it, make sure that their environment is intact. Make sure that you're staying to the same times. Some kids during their regressions might sleep a little bit more. Some might sleep a little bit less, but if they're sleeping less, you want to help them lengthen out that nap. And if they're sleeping more, that's okay because they're growing. So I wouldn't necessarily cap naps or anything at that part unless you start to see that it affects nighttime sleep. So that's something on a completely different plane level that we would go into. 18 months also is known as the transition period from 2 to 1 nap. So you can be going anywhere. It can actually start a little bit earlier, like 16 months, but ideally anywhere between 18 to 24 months is when a little one starts to transition from 2 to 1 nap. So remember yesterday how I was talking about there might be days that when you're doing the transitions, you might go into, so for an example, for 18 months, you're going to go, sometimes it's going to be just 1 nap, let's say like 2 or 3 days, and then the 4th day you'll be taking 2 naps, just to kind of recap on that. And during the transition period, if you've gotten rid of that second nap, you're just going to do an earlier bedtime to compensate for that. Tip number 3 is separation anxiety again peaks. So the first time that it peaks is at 8 months. Now it peaks again at 18 months. So introducing a lovey is really nice. A lovey can be anything from, mom or dad's t-shirt that you can give to your baby because it has the mom's scent. It can be a stuffed animal. It could be a blanket because they're already of age. So introducing a lovey is nice. Don't push it on your little one because some kids just don't really care for them. If they take it, they take it. That's wonderful. There's no need to stress on it or to make sure that, oh my God, Carolina said you need a lovey. Take this lovey. You need this lovey. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. No biggie. Don't stress yourself about it. You got other things to worry about, like what are they going to eat for lunch the next day. So just don't stress about it. Tip number 4 is create a strong beginning and end bedtime ritual. So what I mean by this, and what's really cool is what I do with my toddlers, is I have parents put together an album, and in that album it would have pictures of their little ones, starring their little ones. So let's say Mary Jo is 18 months old and mom makes an album of her. So she would literally take pictures, snapshots, and print them out and put them, on construction paper, create a little photo album, and it would show the pieces of the routine. So the first part will be a picture of Mary Jo eating. That would be on the album. Second picture would be Mary Jo taking a bath. Third picture would be of her sleeping. Fourth picture would be of her waking up. And that's her bedtime routine. So during the routine, mommy will be reading the book, showing the pictures and discussing what's going on, and it's starring Mary Jo. So, it's starring your little one, and they love it because it's a book, and they star in it. Who doesn't love that? So that's something really interesting that I like to do with my toddlers. And also the other factor is, so that would be at the beginning of the routine. Hi Galina, thanks for joining. So just as a recap for people that are joining right now, we are talking about 18-month-old sleep regressions. Make sure you like this video and you share it. So sharing, there's a button right below. So if you share it, especially to your loved ones that are maybe experiencing a regression right now, that would be wonderful. So make sure you can also tag them so then they could see it as well. Now to continue, what I was saying is for the 4th piece, for the 5 tips, is that when you create a strong beginning and end bedtime routine. So the other aspect is after you do the album is you should stay in the room with your little one once the lights are off, because you want them to get adjusted to the darkness with your presence, because at this point, like I mentioned, at 18 months, separation anxiety can peak. So they might just need a little bit of reassurance that mommy or daddy are there. It doesn't mean that they're going to get stuck and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, you're gonna have to sleep with them and stay in their room for like another several months. Don't freak out. Again, this is temporary. So this is a regression period. They're growing. You have to kind of go with their flow, go with their behavior, be there for them. Be a mommy, be a daddy. The 5th piece is remain firm and consistent. So, like I said, don't jip me on naps. Don't jip me on your consistency with your approach and how you're implementing sleep training. You need to stay consistent. Whenever there's change, whenever there's something occurring in your little one, meaning inside their body, that they don't understand what is going on, speaking to them, there's also this awesome company called Go Zen, where they help parents in how to explain nervous behavior, how to explain for the little one, let's say if they have anxiety, what to do. So for 18-month-olds, I think that they have different programs for different ages. You can check that out. The company is called Go, G-O-Zen, Z-E-N. And Dr. Sabari Shafali, she loves Go Zen. So I highly recommend it. Check them out. And so those are my 5 tips for you guys on the 18-month-old sleep regressions. So let's see what kind of awesome questions we have for tonight. So I'm going to start to scroll. Hold on one second. Oh, let me move my candle out of the way before I burn myself. See, I have a little lit candle. It smells so good. I like to turn it on. Well, I don't like fire, so my husband actually does it for me. So, shh, don't tell anyone I said that. Okay, let's see what's going on here. We are getting such awesome feedback. Okay, so Esther, your 20-month-old is a horrible sleeper. Oh, poor Booba. Let me know what's going on so then we can, get a little more, so I can get a little more of an understanding of what's happening, and then we can put a plan together for you, or at least get you on the right foot on what to do, especially since they're 20 months right now and they're not sleeping really well. So that means that mommy's not sleeping very well, and then you can't be the perfect parent that you are if you are sleep deprived. So contact me, let's do something, and to get your little one sleeping. Cool? Jane says, does resistance to sleep apply to nap as well, or only bedtime? Sleep asleep, so it applies also for nap time as well. But usually the nighttime is more intensified. Daytime sleep, some kids, they are sensitive to it and they do have a regression, and then they just decide to, well, they don't decide, it just happens that they might skip the naps like I was mentioning. But mainly it does happen more often at bedtime. Yeah, they're totally moody. Well, that also happens because they're not either getting enough sleep because during the sleep regression period, and lots of changes are happening, so they don't really know what's going on in their body. So you really want to be a little more gradual with that part. Esther says, for a 20-month-old, how many hours between wake up and nap should we do? So I don't work off of awake times. I do those only for 4 to 6 months old. That's specifically because the little one is still creating their sleep patterns. So for children that are over 6 years old, I work off biological times, which are specific times during the day when your body produces melatonin at its highest peak, and that is your sleep hormone. So that is where I would schedule the schedule. Also, it depends on your sleep diary. So what I would do is, Esther, if you have a sleep diary that you have used and you have times that you have implemented, you could send it to me and I'll be able to review it for you, and then we could kind of work from there. So Jane says, how do you help them increase their naps? So one aspect is making sure that their environment is in check. So you would have the blackout curtains, because as we know already, that light is our enemy when we're trying to sleep. So that light suppresses your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. So making sure you have that, making sure that you have a white noise machine, because you don't want any type of disruption happening from their sleep when they're going from one stage to the next. If you have those 2 aspects intact, and you also have the schedule for your little one intact in when you're placing them down, that they are actually tired and that they're not overtired, those are 3 factors that you can look into right away, and then kind of check those off. Okay, I have the easiest pieces in place, and if they're still waking up, then we will go on to the next level on that. But at least I want you to start off on those 3 pieces before you go into anything else, because usually that just helps on its own. Esther says, also how many hours between wake up from... Yeah, so I kind of answered that above. Jane, yes, my daughter sometimes does cry it out at night and grabs her bear immediately. Cool. So she already has a comforting technique, and so her bear is her lovey. So awesome job on that, Jane. Esther, you like the book idea? Yeah, I love the book idea. Kids really like it because they star in it. And you can put it together. You can put it together yourself. So for an example, when you print out the pictures, you can discuss it with your little one and have them, because at that point they could kind of talk and say something. So you can tell them, oh, who's that, or what are we doing, and make it more interactive that way. So the album book is really cool, and it's just fun to use during the regression periods as well. So Jane says, I could get trapped in the room with my daughter. If I stayed in there, she would not go to sleep. That's a possibility, but I wouldn't, you know, think too much about that, because again, the regression is a short time frame. So I don't want you thinking that if you're going to implement something that you're going to end up getting stuck and do it on a permanent basis. So just, you know, kind of go with the flow with it and just be there for her when she's hitting these milestones. Jane, you're also saying, aw, Jane, your internet is acting up again. I don't know what's going on, but lately your internet is not working. It like freezes and stuff like that. So maybe we should check something out on that, because I don't want that happening anymore too. And Esther, try and keep a sleep diary. It's really, really important, and it will help you tremendously with when you're putting your little one to sleep. So that will help you keep track of it. And it's just easier when you're taking things out of your head, because, you know, as moms, we are thinking 50 million things in like 1 second. So if you just take what's in your head and you jot it down on paper, it just simplifies things, and it's one less thing that you have to remember. So keep a diary of what time that he wakes up, what time he falls asleep, what time his naps are, his mood, things like that. So yeah, oh, I just answered your question. Great minds think alike, Esther. So try that in the diary. Again, you should know what time he takes his nap, what time he wakes up, and how his mood is, what time he goes to bed, what time he wakes up, if he has any night wakings, how many, and his mood. Mood is really important, because that tells us if they're cranky pants, that they're not getting enough sleep. So then you would have to fix the schedule, or maybe work with the bedtime on that part. So I would look into starting, that's your first thing that you would start off of, and then we will work on that. Kisses to you too, Esther. Okay, Janet has a question. Hi, Janet. So my 18-month-old is kind of transitioning from 1 to 2 nap. Okay, cool. So some days she needs 2 naps, but other days it's hard to get her down and early naps. So now I don't know what to do. Okay, so Jeanette, that's what I was talking about earlier in the video, is that when you're doing a transition from naps, it's normal to go from one day you'll have one nap, and then maybe like for like 2 or 3 days it'll be like that, and then one day you'll have to go to 2 naps. So the one day that you have 1 nap, I would just make bedtime earlier and bump it up that way. And then on days that you have 2 naps, just keep a regular bedtime. This can last for maybe a couple of weeks, a week to maybe 2-3 weeks. I've had some cases depending on the child, because every child is different. So Esther, you're saying look above Janet's post, please. I did. I answered the question. Is there something I'm missing, Esther? So let me continue on with Janet's question. But let me know, Esther, if I'm missing something else, because I thought I answered the question. But so on days that you have 1 nap, I would just do an earlier bedtime, and then the days that you have 2 naps, just stick to that. So eventually things will kind of lay out themselves, and it'll be easier to well, when you continue on with the transition, it'll just be easier for you to go on with that. So are there any other questions, lovelies? My sleep up peeps. So today is Wednesday, and as you know, I'm going to be doing live videos every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 10 p.m. sharp. And so, oh, my pleasure, Janet. And so we're going to go next week. Babe, that's February starts, right? Yeah, so in February, that I can't believe that's coming up already. Oh my gosh. So that's the month of love. Now, I don't know if you saw on my Instagram and on my Facebook page, but I am having this fantastic party. If you live in New York, you have to come. You just have to, and it's only $5 to reserve your spot. So let me kind of walk you through it. It's going to be at Keels on in Brooklyn Heights. It's on February 26th. You guys are going to get invites, and it's from 9, I believe that's a Sunday, February 26th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. They're closing the store down only for my clients, okay? So you are going to get oodles of gifts, samples, you're going to get drinks, there's going to be snacks, there's going to be a one-on-one talk with me about sleep, you're going to get mini facials, you're going to get gift bags, just shitloads of stuff. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for this, and I'm going to send out invites. It's limited seating because the place is not that huge, so it's going to be on a first come first serve basis. And if you want in, I need you to type in here, I do. So let me know in your comments, and the people that type that in, I'm going to connect with you once we finalize everything. You're getting first dibs on it. Is there decent parking? I don't think so. You might have to take the train. But the two or the 3, if you get off at Court Street, I'll let you guys know. But it's Keels, Brooklyn Heights on Montague Street. So if you want in, let me know. I do. Jane Good. I'm going to send you all the info in a couple of days. Next week, that's when I'm going to start sending out the invites for it to get a heads up, okay? And if you see any posts on Facebook, make sure you send it. You can highlight your friends in it too if you want to bring a friend along. You're gonna love it. We're gonna have a blast, and it's going to be so much fun meeting you guys in person. I know we're already kind of knowing each other as me talking all the time, but I only see, oh yeah, the F train too. Hi Patricia, thanks for joining. So yeah, so I'm gonna give you all the directions and all of the other details and info on that. So I don't drive to Brooklyn, so don't know anything about it. Trust me, you'll make time. You have a month. We'll figure this out. We'll get you there, Jane. Don't worry about it, okay? But you're gonna have a blast. So I will let everyone know. Just type in I do if you want to join, or private message me, and we'll start sending everyone tickets. So if no one has any more questions, I guess we'll call it a night. And if you're watching the replay, you're also welcome to comment I do as well, and I will let you know when we open up for getting tickets for the event. So love you. Mwah. Sweet dreams, everyone, and I'll see you next week on Monday for talking about the month of love. And mainly what I want to do is talk about moms and how we can get sleep, because we try so hard to make sure our husbands are sleeping, how our kids are sleeping. It's time for you. It's time for you to get some sleep too, okay? So that's what I'm going to be focusing on in February. Sweet dreams, everyone. Love you. Bye.